they haven't quite like it's hard to get a new thing out there, so they haven't reached their minimum number to like do the trip. So if anyone is thinking about study abroad next semester, it's a guaranteed $2,000 scholarship, taking all majors, you don't have to be education. If you are interested, just email me before the end of the night at sharp80.edu or yeah, at campus.edu, and I will give them your email address so that the professor can reach out and let you know the details. Any questions?
Are there any questions? Are there any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. I will now recognize Krishna Goswami on behalf of Pi Psi Beta.
Howdy.
Howdy.
My name is Krishna. I'm a junior industrial and distribution major from Texas. But most importantly, I'm the loudest and proudest member of the class of 2020. Hey! On November 16th, 2007, I Psi Beta lost not only a brother but a vital part of everyone's life in our community local to suicide. Moog was a senior industrial distribution major from Texas. He was known by everyone that knew him as a charismatic, smart, and loving human being. The night that he committed suicide was the night before he was to get his Aggie relapse. And a lot of us don't know that the people going through the most of mental health usually show the least symptoms. In order to honor him and help out anyone else going through health struggles or mental illnesses, Pi Psi Beta will be throwing a silent walk in the academic plaza on November 1st, 2018. This will happen at 7 p.m. If you are in the College of Engineering or the College of Liberal Arts, you should have received tonight or later tomorrow morning with more information about the walk. And we're working with other colleges to send out an email about the walk as well. The National Alliance on Mental Illness, as well as XSANM Psychology Club, and Blinn College is helping us out with this walk. For everyone in attendance, there will be free research about mental health as well as mental health awareness out the walk. And we'd love to see all y'all participate. Help erase the stigma from that. Thank you.
Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Liberal Arts, what time? It'll be at 7 p.m. on November.
Are there any other questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. I will now recognize Rashida Jones on behalf of Fusion Fiesta.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Hi, my name is Rashida Jones, and I'm serving as the chair of Fiesta, and this is a cultural event put on by the Alliance Council, Asian President's Council, and so the purpose of Fusion Fiesta is to celebrate and educate on the different cultural backgrounds that help, and it's another opportunity to engage in like cross-cultural communication and learn about different cultures that are different. So the way that we try to showcase this like different is music, performances, food, and like information loops. So we would really love it if you guys could come out and like celebrate, the culture that you know with us, diversity. It's a really great event. It has great food. So it's going to be taking place in a few weeks at Verda Plaza on November 8th at 7 to 10 p.m. So Washington Verda Plaza. We have a lot of live features. So we just really love it if you guys could come out and show.
Are there any questions for the presenter?
Thank you guys so much.
I will now recognize Katina Economides on behalf of the Executive Cabinet.
All right, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So for those who don't know me, my name is Katina Economides, and I serve as the Development Commissioner in the Executive Cabinet, which means I'm in charge of all fundraising for SGA. And one of our big fundraising activities is bricks. So outside of coldest, when you see walking in, there's breaks with people's names, positions that they were in while they were at A&M, and that all comes through me and my commission. So we are selling the last 100 bricks that we have left. And hopefully we're gonna close our order date on November 1st. So if any of you guys are interested in buying a brick, they're $150. You can put whatever you want on there, up to 15 characters. Greek letters are available, numbers, no like emoji. I got a weird email about that. But if you guys are interested in buying a brick, I have order forms with me. You can just stop by the development desk or the front desk at United Cities. They have order forms as well. And Jimbo wants to buy a brick. We all buy bricks. All right. I yield my time to questions.
Are there any questions? Chair Walther.
Chair Walter, Finance. Just to be clear, this is a great opportunity for people to get their names, message that they're choosing, forever ingrained into the oldest building right outside of Caulfield, correct?
Yes.
I have a follow-up question.
Put you at the end. Pro Tem Banks.
Part-time banks, is Jimbo actually bought it?
No, but I'm working on contacting him. Kevin Sullivan.
The Jimbo chef, thank you.
Chair Walther.
Chair Walter, is this also an excellent way for organizations to get their name permanently on campus?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. I will now recognize Ellen Dangtran on behalf of the Asian Presidents Council. Howdy.
So I'm representing the Asian President's Council. I'm an electrical engineering major, class of 2019. And so our mission as the Asian President's Council is to basically represent the theater community on campus. That's the Asian, Pacific Islander, and that's the American community on campus. We interact with organizations, understand what their wants and needs are, what typical challenges and what solutions have been implemented and are trying to be implemented throughout our community. This is basically our staff for this year. Just so maybe if y'all see them on campus, you'll recognize them. So yeah, I'm the Vice President External. And what we do to achieve the goals that we want, we hold general meetings bi-weekly with officers from each organization. That's just sort of a place for us to all come together and figure out what our current challenges are. We hold specific topics per meeting, for example, on-campus programming. Kind of hard to navigate the procedures of campus sometimes for programming, especially if you have a topic that you really want to share with campus. Good idea to have all the tools to do so. Conversations is our community events. We have community meetings, meaning we invite everyone from our community. That was a lot of listening. But basically, we invite the members from our umbrella organization to sort of just participate in conversation, start conversation on topics that are important, and then hopefully continue them outside of the meetings as well. Civic engagement, we had 2 official boothing events that we registered over 500 students. We were not limiting ourselves to PETA students, but we're really proud of that number, and we've held a number of different informationals about how you can inform yourself on things that are on the ballot for this year. And then campus programming, we have events such as field day, dodgeball, and then just more workshops on how to better yourself professionally and just educate yourself about mental health in the community, for example. And then next semester, we have the LEAD conference, which is a leadership conference for the PETA community. Just understanding how our identity is integrated in with being a leader, how we can contribute to society within our community and outside of our community. And then PETA Heritage Month is in April for APC. We hold PETA Heritage Month in April. Officially, Asian Heritage Month is in June. I'm sorry. But the point is, during that time, no one's in school, so we moved it up to April. During that month, we have events that we host as APC to include our umbrella organizations. And then we also invite our umbrella organizations to hold events as well, and sort of just create tangible contributions to the community and campus. That month is really important to us because it's our time to celebrate and just increase exposure of ourselves on campus and educate people not of the PETA community and those within the PETA community about what it is we are, how we are different, and just to be proud of ourselves. That's- I'm also on the Fusion Fiesta Committee. Next slide. That Rashida was speaking about, and so I'm the co-involvement chair for that, event as well. So if you have questions about either, I'm available.
Are there any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will now recognize Reagan Thompson on behalf of Aggie Dems.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
All right, I am done bugging you guys about voter registration. That's done. I'm now just bugging you about actually voting. So, early voting starts October 22nd all the way up until November 2nd. For those of you who know your calendar, October 22nd is Monday. In case you're wondering, hey, where do I vote? You can vote in the MSC. They're easy. They do keep it in the basement, which I can't explain, but it is in the basement at the MSC. So please go early vote. Don't just wait until you vote whenever you want. But the best way to do it is to early vote, because if you wait until last Tuesday to do it, then you are going to face a really, really big line, and that's no fun. Also, I know that there are a lot of procrastinators in here. I'm a procrastinator. I will not be procrastinating on voting because you have classes and stuff on that day too. If you don't want to not get a chance to vote because of line. So please early vote. No matter who you're voting for, just make sure you vote. And that's all. Have any questions about voting? Please, I will stay after and talk.
Are there any questions for the presenter? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now recognize Brianna Moreno on behalf of the Multicultural Greek Council.
Howdy.
Howdy.
I actually came with my vice president, Leslie. So, we are here representing the Multicultural Greek Council, NCCI family. We were established in 1999. We're actually celebrating our 20th year anniversary this year. We're here to talk to you all a little bit about MGC so that y'all are aware of, who we are and what we do on our campus. The mission and purpose of the Multicultural Greek Council at A&M is to create and maintain high standards in the, life of fraternities and sororities by addressing, coordinating, and developing programs and strategic action plans. We unify organizations under our umbrella, promote higher education, we provide services, community service options, enhance leadership, and also serve as liaison within the council, the university as well. Under MGC, we serve 17 diverse organizations. We are currently considered the largest multicultural Greek council in the FCC. It's a pretty big deal. We're also considered one of the largest in the nation currently. Our 17 organizations serve groups in the APITA groups, Latinx, and also multicultural sorority that we currently have under us. We currently serve 17 organizations and continue to expand. So we are the largest in the FCC and are still continuing to expand. We have over 350 members currently under the Multicultural Greek Council, and we have about 11 execs serving the board this year. These are executive board, so I serve as the president. Leslie here serves as the vice president. We have vice president of administration, communication standards, marketing director, multicultural development, personal development, recruitment and expansion, and director of service. All of these ladies and gentlemen serve from different organizations from our council, so they're very diverse, and they represent all of our organizations.
So looking back, our organizations have served over 3,600 hours and have fundraised over 12,500 in a variety of areas. So I do remind you that we are a Greek organization. So each chapter has different philanthropies. So we raise money for all different types of events and things happening. As a council, our philanthropy is LULAC. So we always volunteer at the LULAC Center here back in College Station. Always give back to the community. So these are just some pictures of some of our chapter members, different chapters, doing community service and volunteering. So we just finished up our MGC week this last week from the 8th to the 13th. So Monday we did a last minute voter registration drive. We were able to register 128 people. So yeah, we did really good. We didn't limit it to just 70 people. We went off like asking people if they had registered. So that was a really good way to serve not just the MGC community but also Texas A&M community. And then Tuesday we had a resource tabling with Free to promote Aggies Against Sexual Assault and see what we can do here on the community. And then Friday we had a community service event back with the residents of the LULAC community back here. We played bingo and gave them like little Halloween treats. And then Saturday, my favorite, was our showcase. So we usually host a showcase every semester. In the fall, it's just a friendly showcase that we put on. And in the spring, we do make it a competitive one so that chapters can like battle it out while promoting great community. So what happens here? All different types of chapters perform, whether it is strolling, whether it is dancing or like multicultural like dances and stuff like that. So it's a good way for us to recruit and showcase what different cultures there is here at A&M. And then what's to come, we do have a lot of events coming up. We try to partner up a lot with other organizations here on campus, not just like Greek. So we do have Dia de los Muertos with the Hispanic Presidents Council coming up November 2nd. It's a Thanksgiving Day, but if you guys want, you can totally stop by. We'll be doing like crafts and just information tables about like Dia de los Muertos and just like different culture stuff that happens on that day. So we also have non-full day of service, which is at the Brazos Valley Food Bank, November 3rd from 8 to 10. And then in the spring semester, we also honor the Asian Heritage Month. So we also push it to be on April instead of May since nobody's really here. We host Taste of Asia. I do know that last time we partnered up with APC, so that was really cool. And then we also participate in adopt a grandparent with LULAC. So basically throughout the semester, we go visit our designated grandparent from the community and we just bond with them and see what we can do for them. And it's really cool because it kind of teaches us and like reminds us of home. So yeah. That's it.
If you have any questions, we're here to answer them. It's a lot of information and there's definitely we don't represent the entire council. So there's a lot to learn about the council and a lot of different things that our organizations do on campus. Trying to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for the presenters?
Thank you for your time.
Okay, that concludes the period of open forum. We'll now move into a period of approval of the October 3rd minutes. Are there any objections to the October 3rd, 2018 minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of passing the 10-3 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We will now move into a period of confirmation of our ex officio officers. If you will please come down to the floor.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So we are kind of reintroducing the fish shades again. Grant wasn't able to be here last time, but he is now. And all of the new centers haven't met our fish shades, so we're kind of just gonna go down the line again and let them tell us their name, class year, major, where they're from.
Howdy, my name's Anna. I'm class of 2022. I'm from Houston, Texas, and my major is engineering, hopefully industrial. Senate. My name is Stephanie Anderson. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm majoring in ocean engineering and minoring in Chinese language. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Hi, Senate. My name is Grant Kirby. We're going to be majoring in mechanical engineering
Are there any questions for our officiates? Okay, seeing none, we will now confirm that.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Stephanie Anderson,
Solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute to the best of my ability
faithfully execute to the best of my ability
the duties of the office of state your office.
the duties of the office of officiate,
Texas A&M Student Government Association.
Texas A&M Student Government Association,
To uphold the honor of the same
to uphold the honor of the same
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
at all times to protect the welfare of the student body
and to promote good relations between the students
and to promote good relations between the students
and those concerned with the university.
and those concerned with the university.
Okay, we will now move into a period of old business, starting with SB 71-01, the retitling of the Unity Committee Act. Will the bill authors please come down?
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Senator Moreno, College of Engineering. I am here again to present about the filing committee. So for those of you that weren't here, earlier this semester, or at least actually last semester, Speaker Parker had the great idea about introducing a new committee in the Senate. And so it's kind of the first of its kind, specifically targeting diversity and inclusion initiatives on campus, which most of it sound like a great idea. And then a couple weeks ago, there was an idea about renaming the committee from Diversity and Inclusion Committee to Unity Committee. The reasoning behind it was interesting, but nevertheless, I think it's important to change it back to Diversity and Inclusion. So I gave a presentation 2 weeks ago. I'm going to give a crash course for those of you that weren't here. I personally love crash courses, so I won't take too much of your time. So the intent of Unity, it's just the word unity. There's no differentiation. It's just all of us are the same. And the purpose of diversity and inclusion is a little bit more. So that's the impact of diversity and inclusion. At the end of the day, we're all different. We come from different experiences, different backgrounds. But at the end of the day, we make this Aggie family rich and nice and appealing from the outside. So that's the whole kind of point. Give a brief kind of analogy, I guess you can say, about diversity and inclusion with horses. So next slide. I personally love horses. I don't know how many of you actually love horses. They're great animals, ferocious, powerful, muscular, but they're all different. Horses are all kind of kinds of breeds. But also made a fun joke that if it's a pony, not a miniature horse. Little side joke there. But what I did do actually this week was do more research about my suggestions. Go on the next slide. So there was a great debate about what is the difference between ponies and miniature horses. So I want to lay those facts out. Although it's almost not diversity inclusion, I still want to lay it out so that everyone is convinced that ponies are not the same as miniature horses. So ponies, the first thing is that they have to be at least 14.2 hands, which means it's like a hand is 4 inches. So that's like 50 something inches tall. So it has to be less than that. Second point is they're more stockier than horses. So if you notice them, they're a little bit more round. Their arms, their little legs are like meaty. You can say the next point. Their thicker coats, their manes, their tails are a lot thicker than most horses, or not all horses. Next point. Got 2 more points. shorter legs, obviously, they're short. Next one. They're wider barrels, so if you see them, like, they look like they eat a lot, right? They're, someone look like they're pregnant or whatever, but they're big in their waist. So the next one is now miniature horses. What's the difference, right? So they're around 34 to 38 inches tall. So that's not a whole lot. They actually resemble full-size horses, but they're a lot smaller, right? So they're not as thick. They have long necks, flexible. They have straight legs, which is a bit of an interesting. And they have a short back. Now, if you're wondering where did I get this information, next slide, please. Right there, I got my reference. You got to cite because plagiarism is not a good thing. So for those of you that you plagiarize, it's not part of the IE honor code. So key takeaways from our presentation. The main thing is diversity comes first. You have to address the diversity before you can include people. Diversity validates and acknowledges your differences. So if you're from East Asia, it doesn't make a difference if you're from East Texas. You have your own differences that make you who you are. Assimilation is not the key to unity. You don't have to change who you are to be part of a family. You just someone, a family member. And then the last point, and more importantly, diversity brings benefits to all of us. So whether you're going to work for a multicultural global company or just here in domestically, you're going to run into different people. So it's important that you acknowledge that you're going to have to work with people who are so different from you. So why not bring that to you and allow you to experience that before you hit that? I have my presentation.
Yeah, so I've actually had conversations with Dr. Means Coleman, who are a diversity manager, was talking about the University Vice President for Diversity Inclusion Initiatives. And she's actually leading a push to get the diversity rhetoric put back into the overall IE grant plan for diversity. It's simply the word diversity, the terminology diversity, she thinks is central to work that not only our committee and not only within SGA we're going to do, but also just the university as a whole needs to stop. So she actually is very much in favor of having this committee adopt the terminology of diversity. Actually, asked her, Dr. Coleman, what's your view on this? And she said very strongly. And as we as SGA want to foster good relationships with faculty and administration, I think that just through that dynamic, that's a large step.
And I will say that also our current Unity Committee chair, all right. He currently supports this change as well. So obviously he's going to be over that committee. So it's important that he's worked. So for those of you that aren't convinced necessarily that my presentation wasn't as good or Tony's, of course, it doesn't make sense, analogy, I definitely encourage you to come up here if you want to debate. To really hear your point. It wouldn't make sense for me to say, hey, diversity and inclusion, but then be like, no, your point is not valid. So definitely want to hear you out. If you still choose to not vote for it, kind of won't make sense because you're a leader. You should step up and see what your viewpoint is. And so I welcome that, but I hope that this is definitely changed. With that, I yield my time.
Are there any questions for the presenters? Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Liberal Arts. Would you consider yourself a horse in future horse?
Myself or like my interest or
yourself?
I'll probably say that from the inside I'm Tony. I'm a little bit like tired. But yeah, I love all those.
Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, Academic Affairs. I really like this idea as well, but would you consider changing the photo whereas this is a little bit in that in order to pass, such as whereas 2 and whereas 7?
That's negative.
Pushing the more specific follow-ups.
Any specific changes? I know we can't go back.
I'll put you at the end. Senator McGill.
Reagan McGill, College of Agricultural and Sciences. Can you tell me what ponies and the horses like? We're actually inaccurate. So just so that
I'll just say
Much more valid than mine. I will say that I got this information from Sports Illustrated. It sounded fancy, sounds like Sports Illustrated, but it's like all about horses. Um, yeah, I mean, it's information that came out, I think, and exactly, no, probably not. But generically, that was the main assumption that was made. So, pretty check that link if I can provide it to the rest of y'all. But yeah, if you know more than me, you can share with me on after.
I think the important part to keep in mind here, though, is that whether it's a horse, miniature horse, or a pony, we like them both because that's diversity.
That's essential. So thank you.
Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, I think there's, just to clarify my question, would you, would you be open to the idea of slightly changing regards due to, texting to versus incentive represents all students represent, and whereas 7 to delete the rest of it afterward, because, that might be seen by others, unified, because that might be seen by others as this being pushed on as kind of like being a guy right now, rather than trying to like.
Okay, just to be clear, you said change versus all represents all students? Right, to represent all students to represent all students.
So whereas 2 is actually a copy of whereas 2 from the original act that created the community.
Please stay in order. Please, you're out of order. You're out of order. You can make an amendment during debate against. But if you have a question, Chair Powell.
Would you be open to session amendment?
For that specific line, correct? Is not yes or no? I would be open to it if it still seems.
Are there any other questions for the presenters? Yes, Senator Ahmed.
Can I ask a freshman class topic? I was just wondering where can we find like I went into like the legislation part of the book.
New business, old business.
Oh, this is the original.
I mean, just like the ones that like you guys are probably gonna be referring to.
So this is in old business. The original act that created the community is
So everything today, all the other documents.
will be in old business.
Cool. Thank you.
All legislation is located in the drive under legislation and old business, or check the email that was sent out at the beginning. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you guys. We will now move into a period of debate. Just a reminder for all of our new senators, debate is against and for a bill, starting with against, 2.5 minutes against, 2.5 minutes for a period of 15 minutes. So we'll start with debate against. Is there any debate against the bill? Senator Huebschman. Seeing multiple seconds. Okay, if you would like to be added as a sponsor, please raise your placard.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the amendment is one-sided. We'll now move into period of voting on the amendment to add those senators as sponsors. All those in favor of adding those senators as sponsor to the bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Senator Huebschman, you still have the floor. Floor has been yielded to. We will now move we'll now move into a period of debate for the bill. Is there any debate for the bill? Senator Thompson. Is there any other debate for the bill?
Thompson College of Liberal Arts. Howdy.
Howdy.
I just wanted to debate for the bill in case there were other amendments that wanted to be passed. With that, unless anyone really wants to debate for, although I am very much in favor, I yield to.
Floor has been yielded to. We're now moving back into period of debate against, starting with Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, rules and regulations, I have an amendment.
Please state your amendment.
Seeing as Chair Paul is not in the room, I'm gonna go ahead and do what I thought he was gonna do. And take out, or change whereas to Texas University Student Senate represents all students, not claims to represent.
Seeing multiple seconds, is there any debate against this amendment? To take out the word claims to, or the words claims to, and just say Student Senate represents all students. Is there any debate against that? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into period of voting on that amendment. All those in favor of changing the wording, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Wilson, you still have the floor. This is debate against. Is there any other debate against?
I yield to the floor.
Floor has been yielded to. We will now move back into period of debate for. Is there any debate for the bill? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. Yes, Senator DeGroote. Yes, you can. That's not debatable, so we will be voting by ballot.
Just a reminder, you must put your name, caucus, and sign, or we will not count your vote. When you're done, then please hold it up.
Please take your seats. In a vote of 45 to 3 to 4 abstain, SB 71-07 passes. We will now move into SB 71-08, the priority registration for Veterans Advocacy Bill. Will the bill presenters please come to the floor?
All right, howdy, Senate. So, it's my honor to come forward tonight and present the priority registration for Veterans Advocacy Bill. So this is a bill that would empower our Legislative Relations Commission, led by our incredible Gregory Cross over there, to go to Austin and advocate for the Texas legislature to pass legislation supportive of priority registration for veterans. Priority registration, as I'm sure all y'all know, is a system that allows some students to register for others. Now, you may be wondering, like, isn't that discriminatory? Doesn't that, isn't that, kind of an unfair practice? But the reason our school and other schools across the nation use this practice is just to solve different problems that different groups may have. For example, the Yale leaders get priority registration because their time, their schedules are crazy, and they only have certain times available for classes and whatnot. So I've talked to the Veteran Resource Center, I've talked to the Veteran Students Association, I've talked to Aggie Shields, I've talked to the folks in the registration system itself, and all of us kind of agree that veterans are one of these groups that do have a need to have priority registration for various reasons. Chief among them, though, that the financial benefits they get, the GI Bill and the Hazelwood Act, only apply to certain classes taken in a specific order. And if they can't get into the right classes, at the right times, that can completely mess up their entire financial stability. And they could have to stay longer. And in many circumstances, especially dealing with the Hazelwood Act, that not only costs them money, but also costs the university money. So as I said, I've spoken to a lot of different veterans groups, and we're all pretty well in favor of this change. One other thing I'd like to One other thing I'd like to point out with this is that this is something that the federal government is actually pushing on a nationwide scale. Karina, could you pull up that tab I pulled up earlier? Yeah, this is the GI Bill comparison. This is a bill on the federal Veterans Affairs website that allows veterans to go through and find schools that best fit them. And one of the factors it takes into consideration is whether or not a school has part of registration for veterans. A&M is one of the minority nationwide that does not have part of registration for veterans. And A&M is one of only 4 of the 11 A&M system schools that does not have part of registration for veterans. We are in the minority here. And I don't think that anybody wants Texas A&M University to be on the bad list. When a veteran who wants to serve this country, wants to go to college, or a degree, wants to go to college, they come here. We don't want to be on the bad list. We don't want to be on the, hey, veteran, don't go to this college list. Because we're A&M University. We want to be fearless on every front. We want to expand our brand to everybody we can and get as many great simplified Aggies as we can. Want to say something?
Sure, I just wanted to add really quickly, this was sent to my committee. The only things we changed were we added, at the request of Senator Fisher, the Corps Commandant, Corps Commander, and then Delta Company. And then Senator Fisher also did some legwork for us and reached out to them on behalf of this bill and Senate, and they're really happy and pleased with it. And Corps Commander is looking forward to seeing it, getting it to various respected people and support.
And yeah, with that, we yield our time to questions.
Are there any questions? Senator Moreno?
Senator Moreno, College of Engineering. Why wasn't this already something that was a while back ago, given
Absolutely. So in many of the conversations I've had with various people, I spoke to the provost about this issue. A&M has a great history of, we have our Corps and sending people off in the military. We don't have as much of a significant impact who have been in. So there's actually been a lot of steps in the past few decades to, help the facilitation of that, the creation of the Veterans Resource Office, by all accounts. And they do a great job over there. But I think that it's important that we take this next step to just really signal that we are working on expanding our doors and really, showing that we're very veteran friendly.
Senator Thompson? Yes.
You're talking about class registration, correct?
Yes.
In the bill, could the language of the bill include class registration? Because right now it just says registration.
I would be open to that.
Are there any other questions for the presenter? Chair Wilson?
Chair Wilson, rules and regulations, is there a specific reason why Purpose 50 is not on the list of people to send it to and if it gets passed?
There isn't. We would be open.
Yeah.
We would be open to that amendment.
Are there any other questions for the presenters? Seeing none, thank y'all. I will now move into a period of debate, starting with debate against. Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, rules and regulations, I have an amendment.
Please state your amendment.
I would like to add Provost Carol Fierke to let a copy of this bill be sent to.
Seeing 1 second, is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of adding Provost Fierke to the let it be sent to, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Wilson, you still have the floor.
I yield to Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Lawrence, I have an amendment.
Please state your amendment.
In every instance of it saying priority registration, change it to priority course registration.
Multiple seconds. Is there any debate against this amendment? To change it to course registration instead of registration? Seeing no debate, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into period of voting. All those in favor of changing it to course registration, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Senator Thompson, you still have the floor.
I yield the floor to
State your amendment. Multiple seconds. If you'd like to be out as a sponsor, please raise your placard.
Oh, thank you.
Is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of adding those senators as sponsor to this bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Senator Black, you still have the floor. Floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for the bill. Is there any debate for the advocacy bill? Seeing none, the debate on the bill is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SB 71-08, the priority registration for veterans advocacy bill, priority course registration, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into SB 71-09, the polls 206-207 voter registration information bill. Will the bill presenters please come to the floor?
Howdy, I'm JT Ryan from the Legislative Relations Committee, and I talk about polls to so this bill is basically just saying that professors will give information to both polls on how to register. We find this necessary because right now Texas is 44th out of the 60 states on eligible citizens registered to vote, and only 48 registered to vote. The national average of statewide registered is only 32% of Texans aged 18 to 24 voted. So hopefully this bill would be able to give more Aggies information on how to register and increase.
Yeah, one more quick thing to add. Some of the LR members couldn't be here tonight because of tests, et cetera. That's why their names are there, but they're not here physically. And one more thing I'm gonna add, because I think it's important, is, a lot of people don't understand how to register to vote, or the fact that they have to over-register. That's something that Senator Thompson and I and everyone who went through the voter registrars, volunteer courses, they even get inundated with so many people who register to vote every single election cycle, and it wastes the state's money. So just putting this knowledge out there, just, people who get any degree because it's required by the state thinks it's important that people take 206 to 207. So it would obviously be beneficial for them to also have voter registration.
The only thing we changed in committee is whereas one, or let it therefore be enacted one, we clarified that polls 206 was national government and polls 207 was Texas government. Because that varies depending on campus. So we just clarified that.
Are there any questions for the presenters? Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, I have no because is there any reason for the
Yeah, so if you'll look with me, Representative John Rainey, he's ours. He's also on the House Higher Education Committee. Also, Representative Rosano, he's the chair of the House Higher Education Committee. And then Chairman, I can't say his last name, sorry. He's the chairman of the Senate Higher Education Committee. That's actually a joke at the meetings. Nobody knows how to say something. And then Royce West, he's the vice chair of the Senate House of Higher Education. And obviously, we'll speak to a lot more people than this, but these are the people who really are in charge of the education.
Pro Tem Banks.
Pro Tem Banks, so do the current class numbers that you have up there correspond to the associated Texas transfer credit list? There's a list of, I know I've had you.
That's what I was mentioning. Sorry to cut you off, but we said American national government and then parentheses Pulse 206, that's what it is on our campus. And we said, local government, Pulse 207 in parentheses, that's what it is on our campus. So we've made sure to, that's why I said we've specified that's American national government, state and local government.
Question follow-up. Would you be open to an amendment adding the Texas transfer credit classifications of those costs?
Sure. Are there any other questions for the presenters? Senator Roberts?
My question is about the spacing of the documents. Yeah,
Great question. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank y'all. We'll now move into a period of debate, starting with debate against Chair Walther.
Chair Walter, Finance, can you scroll up, please? I'd like to propose an amendment whereby Chair Walter's name be instead of W. Much appreciated. Here, here.
Are there any seconds for this amendment? Seeing multiple, we'll now move into a period of debate for the amendment. Is there any debate against correcting Chair Walther's name? Senator Amini?
Senator Amini calls for
Please come down to
the
the.
correct way to spell Matthew.
Also, you're out of order because you didn't say your name in the caucus.
Okay. Senator Amini, you still have the floor. The floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for changing Senator Chair Walther's name. Is there any debate for Chair Walter? Please come to the floor to debate.
Chair Walter, Finance. I have a driver's license. It's got my name right, one T, so anyone's doubtful of that. Yield two. Chair. Wait. Pro tem.
Pro Tem Banks, as somebody who has often gotten his name confused with his brother's, which is of course Michael Walter, I do believe that his name is Matthew and that it is spelled with one T. I yield to.
The floor has been yielded to. We will now move back into a period of debate against. Is there any debate against this amendment? Chair Chimada.
Sure, Chair Thomas, have an amendment.
You can't make another amendment when we're on debate for an amendment.
Senator Walther.
Senator Walter makes progress. I myself am a firm believer. Fate today dictated that Matthew Walter be spelled with two T's. Thus, I think let fate do its thing and keep the T. I give my time to the floor.
The floor has been yielded to. We will now move back into a period of debate for. Is there any debate for this amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of changing Chair Walter's name to have one T, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Hey.
Okay, all those in favor, please rise.
Please stay in order.
Please be seated. All opposed, please rise. All right, please be seated. That passes. Chair Walther, you still have the floor. Chair Walther, you still have the floor in debate again.
I yield to Pro Tem Banks.
Please state your amendment.
I would like to add to let it be enacted. Let it be enacted one. The Texas Common Core numbering system designations for those classes, which is GOVT 2305 and 2306.
Can you tell me where you want that?
Parentheses, polls 206, comma, GOVT 2305, and, yeah, polls 207, comma, GOVT 2305.
Are there any seconds for this amendment? Seeing multiple, we'll now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing Pro Tem Banks' amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
Yield the floor to Chair Powell.
Here's what, since there's I have an amendment I would propose,
Please state your amendment.
adding myself and anyone who else would like to be a sponsor. to the resolution.
Seeing multiple seconds. Thank you. Is there any debate against this amendment? Okay, seeing none, the period of debate is one-sided. We'll now move into period of voting. All those in favor of passing, adding those senators as sponsor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Chamati, you still have the floor.
I yield my time to Chair Powell.
Chair Powell,
Chair Powell, I'd like to propose a
please state your amendment.
I would like to add to to send a copy of this bill also to Dr. who is the chair of the.
Being a second, is there any debate against adding the chair of the core curriculum at Texas A&M as assent to? Is there any debate against this amendment? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into period of voting. All those in favor of adding Dr. Core curriculum to the let it be sent to, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Powell, you still have the floor.
I'd like to give my time.
Senator Thompson proposed that amendment.
Please state your amendment.
Changing the ending of whereas 1, 2, and 3, where there are punctuation marks as periods. Colons, and whereas 1, 2, still format.
Multiple seconds. Is there any debate against fixing the grammatical issues of this bill? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of fixing the grammar of this bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Senator Thompson, you still have the floor.
I yield the floor. Not to the floor.
Floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for. Is there any debate for this bill? Chair Kantar.
Point of information, Chair Kantar, diversity and inclusion. Go back up, do they need to write senator whenever they're introducing something, or do you just write the name in caucus?
Just the name.
Is there any debate for this bill? That was a point of information, so is there any debate for? Being none, the debate is one-sided. All those in favor of passing SB 71-09, the polls 206, 207, voter registration information bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into a reading of SB 71-10, the Good Samaritan Law Reformation Bill. Will the bill presenters please come to the floor?
my name is Catherine Stagner. I'm from the Legislative Relations Commission.
Okay, good. I'm also from the legislature.
So we're talking about the Good Samaritan Law Reformation Bill. And since 1999, drug overdoses in Texas have gone up by 78%. And most of those drug overdoses occur in the presence of other users. Yet the number of calls to 911 is nowhere near that percentage. The Good Samaritan Reformation Bill would grant protection to those seeking medical attention due to impairment from those drugs. Meaning in a drug overdose situation, the first individual call 911 would be protected from legal prosecution. Please keep in mind that this only extends to those that are first to call, those that remain on the scene to help arrive, and that they fully cooperate with the required medical services and law enforcement. The main purpose of this bill is to save lives and not grant immunity to repeat. This bill asks you that you take into account the number of active lives that drug overdose has affected as possible.
So over 40 states and including Washington D.C. have already enacted a form of Good Samaritan bill or a 911 drug immunity law. And many schools in the state of Texas have already put something similar to this within their student code, such as Southwestern and D.C. In a study from the Texas Department of State Health Service from June 2018, it was found that many states with these types of laws have reported as much as a 15% drop in opioid overdose in the past 5 years. While one of the main points of opposition to this bill is the inclusion of is the number of drug users that may benefit from this, this study shows that that is not that there's no increase with the drug users. Texas lawmakers are aware of the issue and are beginning to take action and pass legislative session. Senator Watson through Senate Bill 1651 and Representative William through House Bill 73 have had bills that are very similar to this bill. Their bills follow the same logic of protecting the individual following this type of medical emergency, as long as they comply with the police and stay with the victim as long as required, and fully compliant with police and all emergency personnel that are there. Similar bills have also passed favorably through the Senate and the House in the 84th session of the legislative session, voted by Governor Abbott, were vetoed by Governor Abbott, who was concerned about its misuse by habitual drug users. If this bill passes through the Senate, we are looking to sit down with Governor Abbott or members of the staff and discuss the ways that we can bridge the gap. Thank you, and if you have any questions.
Are there any questions for the presenters on the Good Samaritan bill? Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Liberal Arts. On whereas 3, is there a reason the word presence? In emergency, there is currently no legal protection afforded to individuals that make calls to medical services and emergency responders under the presence of the legal.
They could physically be at the residence, but it might not be in their system. Influence means.
So, yeah, even if you weren't partaking and it was there before, because it's there and you're there, you can get charged with possession, whether or not it's yours. So this kind of covers
both.
most situations.
Go ahead.
Would you be opposed to an amendment that made that grammatically correct, where it said under the influence or in the presence of?
Are there any other questions? Senator Ahmed.
Matt said, freshman class talking. I just had a question. So this bill only affects the person who's like under the influence of like needs the medical attention in the first caller. How does it affect, let's say there's other people helping with that situation, but they're not the one alone? How does this bill affect those?
So that all goes to like the police on the scene and also the district attorney. They press charges on whoever the district attorney, he or she feels necessary to prosecute.
Our bill would just protect the call.
It only guarantees the protection of that one person, but it's common that other people, if they're actually helping, it's not uncommon to have them.
the discretion of the police.
Senator Crowe.
Senator Crowe, Mace Caucus. So to clarify, how many times?
So, as long as it complies with the actual legislation, I guess they could use it like limitless. But there's only so many times that, they're gonna get arrested for other things. You know what I'm saying? It's not immunity forever for any kind of offense, it's just in that one scenario. But I guess it could be used to help save other people's lives. I guess, do you have a better interpretation?
I guess the question really is, can they use it like daily? Is that basically the question? You don't have to say anything. The point of this is to stay alive in like a life and death situation. So if they're having an overdose, not just that they are under the influence of this drug and enjoying the drug recreationally, it's like if they need medical attention, that they're fixing to die, those are really the only people that would call. So they're the ones that would really use it. So we would hope they wouldn't use it every day. But if someone is an abuser of a drug, then perhaps more often than others, but it's for their safety.
But in the actual Texas legislation, it's very long. I have it on the desk. There's all these stipulations where as soon as you flee, it's over, right? If you interfere with the police, it's over, you get prosecuted. If you interfere with the EMTs, it's over, you're prosecuted. So there are all these really strict details. And but as far as like you being able to call, I guess if you're in those situations and you help save lives all the time, you could use it that way.
Senator Oldham.
Under the lightly acted two, is there a reason that the AMUs were awarded where they are with the legal activity? Because I understand the context of the bill, but that's a really broad statement. Presence at the time in which legal activity happened. It's not really specific to alcohol or narcotics.
So the vagueness is kind of on purpose. Well, it is intentional because if I'm 19 and Bob or Jill's 19 and they're getting alcohol poisoning, we still want this piece of legislation to be able for me to call and say, okay, Jill, was having alcohol poisoning, but she's not 21. So there's still that protection of helping saving her life, even though it's alcohol, not drugs. So that clarifies.
With 30 seconds left, Chair Walther, motion.
Oh, no,
Hold on, motion.
Pro Tem Banks, I move to extend period of question and answer by 5 minutes.
Are there any seconds for this motion? Seeing multiple, all those in favor of extending the period of questioning by 5 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Chair Walther, continue with your question.
Sure, Walter. Just a quick clarifier. So when it says with legitimate need for medical attention being defined as being legitimate by medical professional, there would be that if they're not taking ambulance.
Right, and that way, if like they're driving down the street and they're about to get pulled over, they can't call and go like, oh, he's about to OD. That's not going to cut it. It has to be that.
That also kind of answers your question more. A little bit more.
Pro Tem Banks.
Pro Tem Banks. So I understand that if you call frequently for actual medical emergencies, the amnesty would be granted multiple times. Well, what if somebody calls for a non-life-threatening or non-super serious medical emergency, such as, maybe they think that it's super life-threatening, but it doesn't actually turn out to be. Maybe they're just so high they thought they were seeing things, or something else. Maybe they just call for a reason that's not life-threatening. With that, maybe they're just sick or something. Would that protection still extend to them then? So what about those circumstances where it's not actually?
The point that Chair Walther just said explains that.
And also, it's up to the police and the district attorney who gets charged with crimes and what happens there.
Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, I think because I think you just last comment, but does this rule
So I would assume that like if you drug someone, like that's a criminal act. So that's not what this is talking about at all.
Senator Rodriguez.
Senator Rodriguez, all county counties. Kind of feedback off of Chairman Powell's comment
also in enacted number 2, where it says, be prosecuted despite their own involvement instead of reflected. Can you clarify the two? Because I know all looking at this right now, now we think that whereas letter B, their own involvement instead of regardless of their presence or their also participation. Which all be, I guess, against, clarify that? No, you can clarify that. I think Senator Thompson's going to clarify the third one, and you can more than welcome to clarify the letter B if you want to. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Are there any other questions for the presenters? Seeing none, thank you guys. We will now move into a period of debate on the Good Samaritan Law Reformation Bill. Is there any debate against the bill? Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Liberal Arts, I have,
Please state your amendment.
Fixing a few grammatical issues within the bill, specifically, in whereas 3, under the presence of illegal narcotics, is grammatically incorrect, changing that to under the influence and or in the presence of illegal narcotics. In addition, there are other grammatical issues, specifically going down to therefore let it be enacted 2. There, subpoint B, their own involvement in said illegal activity in that should be semicolon and in the word and a comma. Therefore, let it be enacted 3, subpoints A and B should be capitalized at the beginning. Words remain and cooperate. And after subpoint B, there should be a semicolon, the word and comma. Subpoint A should have a comma after the word and. And finally, therefore let it be enacted 4 should have a semicolon instead of a period at the end, word and following it.
Are there any seconds for these amendments? Seeing multiple seconds, we will now move into a period of debate. Is there any debate against said amendments by Senator Thompson? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We'll now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of amending the bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. Senator Thompson, you still have the floor in debate against.
Rodriguez, alternate caucus. I move to amend the there let it be enacted 2 statement by striking out the entirety of subsection.
That part? Okay, so this is a pretty hefty amendment. This would be completely removing the statement B from the bill. Please take a second to read that. We will be moving into a period of debate. So is there any debate against removing this line from the bill? I'm sorry, are there any seconds to this amendment? Yes. It would. Go ahead. The bill presenters can debate against. Senator Walters?
Senator Walters, point of information. Their own involvement, that necessarily causation. So if I'm a drug dealer, drugs.
That's not a point of information. It's parliamentary. That's debate. So that, can you say that for debate against the amendment? But right there, right now, there's still no second for the amendment. So there might not even be debate. Okay,
there are seconds for the amendment. So we will now be hearing the amendment. So like Senator Krogh pointed out, this would be changing the intent of this bill. So is there any debate against striking this line from the bill? Chairman Mendoza.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
I guess I misunderstood the question. Yeah, I'm totally against this. It changes the entire, like you said, Senator Krogh. Because A says in the presence at the time, their presence at a time in which illegal activity is happening, so you're there physically. So B is if you're the one doing the drugs, you have it in your system, you're approved, right? So that's entirely not the point of this, because the one in their system is the one that's gonna have the life altering happen to the medical system. So yes, we're against this. Do you perhaps want to change the wording of B, same intent, okay, but B needs to be in there in some way or form. I give my time to Senator Hughes. There you are, sorry.
Howdy.
So I think really the intent of this bill is to ensure that we can advocate for allowing, about saving lives. You know, when an overdose is happening, the focus should not be on prosecution, but should be focusing on ensuring that people are not afraid to call paramedics if they need to call paramedics. And there should be no reason that they're afraid to call a paramedic if there's a situation where someone is participating in illegal activity. It's not that we are encouraging this. It's that we are ensuring that they will still come forward to a paramedic and call in case of life-threatening emergency. I think that that is the intent of this entire bill, and I think that needs to be. That I yield my time to.
How do you say? I forgot one quick point.
Please state your name and cause.
Chairman Mendoza, Legislative Affairs. Greg mentioned to me that also if I'm not necessarily the one that's ODing, but I'm also partaking in drug use, I would be the one calling. I would not want to call at that point because I would then injure myself. That's also an important thing. One person's doing the right, most likely multiple people are, including the person. I yield my time to the floor.
Okay, the floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for the amendment. Is there any debate for this amendment? Mr. Powell.
Jeff Powell, Academic Affairs. Howdy.
Howdy.
I think maybe that's not good question, but one concern I had was this might be not specific to what the constitutes, because I might be worried that, like the example of like a drug dealer giving someone drugs, but be more serious, like someone drugging someone's drink and calling the police after that. I just think maybe the debate against would be able to clarify that this is not like to let someone off for drugging someone. It's only for people who like were in possession or were on drugs. I yield my time to.
All right, the floor has been yielded to. We will now move back into a period of debate against the amendment, starting with Chair Chimado.
Howdy,
Howdy.
Chair Shimada, Student Services. Okay, I'm not saying that this obviously does apply to drugs, but like, I'll be honest, I've been in situations, and I know several people who've been in situations like this with regards to alcohol. Okay, and like, I'm honestly perplexed as to why we're like looking for, some of the things you guys have said, I cannot think of myself thinking of. But this is the complete point of this bill. And there would be no point in absence resolution without this phrase. And on top of that, like this fear that, okay, so if I drug someone's drink, why would I want them to get medical attention? If I'm trying to kill someone, why would I want them to get medical attention? Or like, okay, I drug someone, someone were to be raped because of drug. So the police come, medical personnel comes, they get a rape kit. That's not good for me, right? So I really don't understand that line of logic. So if that could be cleared up for me, that'd be great. I do not support this. I yield the remainder of my time to Chair Walter.
General Assembly Finance, obviously removing the entire line think that I can see whereby there might be a little bit of confusion, so I think I'm about to propose my own amendment whereby it's their own usage of said illegal substances. I feel like that would kind of clarify it while keeping the spirit of the bill in place. Yield my time to the floor.
Okay. Floor is yielded to. We'll now move back into period of debate 4. Is there any debate for this amendment? Seeing none, debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting on this amendment. All those in favor of, so just to clarify, if you vote for this amendment, you'll be removing this line. So all those in favor of removing this line from the bill, please say aye. All opposed? Nay. That fails. So we will now move back into a period of debate against the bill. Senator Rodriguez, you still have the floor. The floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for the bill, starting by recognizing
Chairman Dozier, Legislative Affairs. I just want to debate for so we can add some amendments. I yield my time to the floor.
Okay, the floor has been yielded to. We'll now move back into period of debate against, starting with Chair Walter.
Chair Walter, Finance, I'd like to
Please state your amendment.
I'd like to change subpoint B for therefore let it be enacted to their own usage instead of illegal substance. Semicolon.
Okay, please take a second to read this, how it's worded right now. Is that correct? Okay. We'll now move into a period of debate on this amendment. Is there any debate against the changing of the bill to read their own usage of said illegal substances? Is there any debate against? Chair Powell.
Chair Powell, I'd like to propose an amendment.
You cannot do that. Senator McGill.
Breaking the Guild College of Ag and Life Sciences, I feel like using their own usage of study.
Is this debate against? Okay. Okay.
Breaking the Guild College of Ag and Life Sciences, so this their own usage of said illegal substances, I feel like that narrows it down as to substances, so we're like being much more narrow instead of all drugs. I don't know if I'm making sense in saying that, but I feel like that's implied that there's a list. I yield my time.
Senator Fisher, College of Liberal Arts. I generally agree with the intent of this amendment, but I think for consistency's sake and for clarity's sake, in a perfect world, a better amendment may be, instead of saying illegal substances, maybe saying as is referenced and therefore they'll be enacted to illegal narcotics or illegal recreational. Yield my time to Senator Gill.
Breaking the Guild College of Ag and Life Sciences, I just want to make one more point in that by using illegal substances, there's an opioid epidemic, and they're not exactly illegal substances. Overdosing on them cause problems, so I think that should be a good point. So just because of prescription meds still in, so illegal substances may not be the right word. I yield my time to Senator Moreno.
Senator Moreno, College of Education. I feel by using illegal substances, you're taking away alcohol, and I believe that that needs to be added somehow because we are college students, and it's just something that's happened so long. I yield my time to the floor.
Okay, the floor has been yielded to. We will now move into a period of debate for the amendment, starting with Senator Amini. Point of information.
Senator Amini, isn't there already a separate disparity law for alcohol?
is a Good Samaritan law for alcohol. Yes. So we'll now move into period of debate 4. For Senator Rodriguez.
Senator Rodriguez,
Hi, Senate.
Howdy.
Just want to clarify, I apologize for the confusion, the amendment that I gave earlier. It's not the idea of trying to save a life I'm against, it was just the way that this was worded, so I really appreciate Chairman Walter's work on this new amendment to this. I greatly appreciate the fact that we're going to be changing to legal substance to, can you repeat the amendment again one more time? Just so I have the exact wordage. It is said. Okay, great, appreciate it. Just because one, if you're engaged in this activity with a person that's overdosing, you're not overdosing yourself, but you see your friend, getting to that teetering point where they're not with you anymore. It's one of those things where you got to step into the right thing. However, I think that the verbiage that we had prior to this amendment definitely protects those that might have sold the illegal narcotic, or one that provided or did something that they were intentionally trying to harm somebody else. Therefore, I really appreciate this, and I think it's a good balancing point between those that are for this amendment, those that are against it. Again, it's about saving a life, whether you were participating in illegal narcotics itself, or you simply just saw your friend doing it and want to save his life as well. I yield my time to Pro Tem Banks.
Pro Tem Banks. So we could sit here and debate all night about the exact specifics of the circumstances and whatnot, but as Gregory Cross already pointed out, there are pages upon pages upon pages of little caveats and whatnot and clarifications and whatnot. So I say we just let Greg and the legislatures in Austin work out the fine points, and we just empower our legislative commission to advocate for that. And with that, I yield my time to Chairman Dozer.
Chairman Dozer, Legislative Affairs. So two things. One, yes, there's alcohol one. However, if you're worried about alcohol being involved in this one, legal substances, including alcohol, if you're underage. So, and then two, someone mentioned opioids. Opioids are illegal if you have a prescription for them, and if they're not illegal, then treat anyways without worrying about prosecution. So, with that, I yield my time to the floor.
Okay, the floor has been yielded to. We will now move, was that debate? Four. Okay, we'll now move into period of debate against this amendment. Okay. Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, Rules and Regulations, I move to previous question because we've had 3 rounds of debate for and against.
Okay, seeing multiple seconds, so everyone knows, moving to previous question, we'll move straight into voting on the amendment and in the period of debate. So, all those in favor of moving to previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We will now move into a period of voting on this amendment. So if you would like, voting for would be to keep the wording as on the screen. So if you would like to vote for this amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
That passes. Okay, we'll now move back into a period of debate against the bill. Chair Walter, you have the floor.
Senator Harris, off campus caucus. I have a minute.
Please state your amendment.
I move that we amend the bill to read, to a point that was brought up earlier, to insert the word illegal usage of narcotics throughout the bill, wherever it states overdose on illegal, for instance, overdose on illegal narcotics or their own use of said illegal substances due to the fact that there's no list of said or illegal, and that can be left up to interpretation, where it's a lot easier to interpret whether or not the usage is illegal rather than the substance.
So can you state what
So,
you would like to change
yes.
specifically?
I move that we insert the word usage between the words illegal and narcotics throughout the bill. I would assume usage of. Yes. I yield my time to the floor.
Okay. Everyone take a second to read how this now reads. So it would say, the first individual to contact the necessary authorities in response to the possible overdose on illegal usage of narcotics by another will not be prosecuted. Is there any debate against this amendment? Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, Marshall Lawrence. Is it, I just want to clarify, is it just and therefore let it be enacted, or was it throughout the bill?
Throughout the bill.
Okay, so thank you, Senator Thompson, for the clarification. That is the amendment stated by Senator Harris. Is there any debate against the amendment? Chair Mendoza.
Chair Mendoza, Legislative Affairs. So I understand what you're trying to do. However, usage is only half the battle with this entire thing. The other half is presence of it, and to me, it just adds another foggy gray area that's not necessary. So I am against putting usage in every sentence. I yield my time to Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of the Arts. I'd like to echo the sentiment of Chair Mendoza in that this completely changes the bill. Once again, we're talking about usage and presence of this, and also by changing this to usage of the narcotics, we are also changing several different sentences. The meaning of the original bill without the word usage of is fine, and would still carry the intent of everyone in this room. Again, I want to say that we could just leave this up to the LR committee and people in the Texas state government to hammer out the details of this. They're not writing an actual law here. So, just want to clarify that for everyone. And then from there, I'd like to yield my time to Senator.
Senator Johnson, off campus Senate. Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
I would just like to make the point that if you're using usage in it, it also forgets about people that are, for instance, drug themselves. So then how are people supposed to enforce this or use this if they're drug themselves when technically they can't, if you're required to use the drug before it occurs? I yield my time to.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Senator Roberts, College of Liberal Arts. Basically, just, I mean, it's the whole language thing. I mean, if you say, what about the people who were like, oh, hey, like, my friend is messed up on X, Y, and Z drugs, but maybe I shouldn't call because I'm not trying to go to jail. So, I mean, like, plus it's just like an initiative for just trying to extend it anyways. And it also sounds better without the change of the language that was represented. So, I mean, just make it sound better. With that, I yield my time.
Senator Fisher, College of Liberal Arts. I move to previous question.
Seeing multiple seconds, moving to previous question would be a vote on this amendment. All those in favor of moving to previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We'll now move into a period of voting on this amendment. So all those in favor of implementing this amendment, please say aye. All opposed?
Nay.
That fails. We will move back into period of debate against Senator Harris. You still have the floor.
Chair Walter, Finance, I move to approve.
Seeing multiple seconds, moving to previous question would be moving into a vote on the bill itself. All those in favor of moving to previous question, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We will now move into a period of voting. All of those in favor of passing SB 71-10, the Good Samaritan Law Reformation Bill, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. We will now move into a reading of SB 71-11, the Subcommittee Regulations Act. Will the bill presenters please come to the floor? And please stay in order, guys. This is our last bill of old business.
Howdy, Senate. So this is just a second reading. We set a precedent whenever Ashley instituted her subcommittee, and we're kind of just going to continue to operate on those rules. So nothing changed while it was in committee. It still says that to institute a subcommittee, you have to bring it to IA, it has to be passed by majority in IA, and then the chair that the subcommittee falls under then chooses a subcommittee chair, presents them to Senate, and they have to be approved by 2/3 majority vote of the Senate. Nothing changed. At that point, I'm now open to questions.
Are there any questions for Chair Wilson on the Subcommittee Regulations Act? Seeing none, thank you. We'll now move into a period of debate on this bill. Is there any debate on the Subcommittee Regulations Act? Is there any debate against? Seeing none, the debate is one-sided. We will now move into a period of voting. All those in favor of passing SB 71-11, the Subcommittee Regulations Act, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes. All right, we will now move into a period of open session. Does anyone have any legislation or business for open session? Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, rules and regulations, I have a
Please state the name of your bill.
Legislative Revision Act. Chair Wilson, rules and regulations, howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So I was tasked to presenting this bill on behalf of a fellow senator who's not here tonight due to some extracurricular activities. This is essentially just to allow not formal amendments to change grammatical, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling errors legislation. It's not efficient, and right now the formal amendment process is currently the only way to edit simple written errors in legislation. With that being said, this is first reading, so I'm going to just outline kind of what Kyler put in here. With the verbal consent of the authors and sponsors and being deemed appropriate by the speaker and the rules and regulations chair, grammatical, capitalization, punctuation, or spelling errors may be corrected without a formal amendment. Appropriate titles of sponsors as well as people who the bill can be sent to can also be inserted so that we're not sending it to the wrong people. And if written errors are noticed after the passage of a piece of legislation, it can be corrected if the Speaker of the Senate and Rules and Regulations Chair in agreement, and the revision and the bill authors are made aware of the errors and revisions. So that being said, something will be added in committee allowing that letter for the be enacted 3, only the grammatical changes. The meaning of the bill will not change. And I'm now open to questions.
Senator Fisher.
Senator Fisher, Liberal Arts. So an example of this would be during the debate against or given piece of legislation, if we see say that and should you and agree with that change.
Pro Tem Banks.
Pro Tem Banks, are you aware that spelling error is itself a spelling error because it should be spelling errors?
I am now. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Chair Wilson? Seeing none, this bill will be going to the Rules and Regulations Committee. Does anyone else have any other business or legislation for open session? Senator Black. Please state the title of your bill. please come down and present it.
Rules and regulations. Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
So Jet and City noticed that while we were debating for the Good Samaritan bill, that currently bill authors are not allowed to debate for or against their own bills. We have not operated under these rules for multiple sessions, and we believe that this is inserted kind of as a loophole to not allow bill authors and presenters to advocate on behalf of their bills. May they be radical.
So there, we're adding on the therefore let it be enacted one that Article 6, Section 5, Section G, and change to read as follows. Bill authors may participate in bill presentation. I will have speakers for the periods of presentation and question and answer. Bill authors who are not members of the Senate shall not be granted. Bill authors who are not student senators can debate as normal. Let it be enacted to copy the bill be sent to Chair Wilson. That kind of just follows our normal operating procedure that if you're here, you can debate, you can ask questions. If you're not,
And we are open to questions.
Are there any questions for the bill presenters? Seeing none, this bill will be going to the Rules and Regulations Committee. Are there any other bills or anything else for open session? Seeing none, we will now move into a period of committee reports, starting with Pro Tem Banks.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Let me get my notes up and go over. Our executive director of records, Seth Barber, is actually in it. So we are currently looking for a new member of our operations committee. Director of records is in charge of, among other things, minutes of the Senate meeting. So please let me know if you're interested in that. Our website is currently being updated by Senator Ramirez over here, and he actually has something to say.
Can you pull up the website really quickly? Sorry. Yes. So howdy guys, for those of you who don't know me, I am Senator Ramirez from the Off-Campus Caucus. So I have the pleasure of serving as the Director of Marketing. So if you go to the Senators tab, please, that is where you guys all are listed. So if you go down, if you could please audit me and make sure that your name is spelled correctly, your caucus, email address, and to that end, a lot of people were missing telephone numbers on the drive. And so if you don't have a telephone number, please reach out to Tate, so that way we can get that, because at the end of the day, we're all here to serve the student body, and so we want to make sure that we're accessible, and so that's primarily how your constituents would contact you. So make sure you fix that if you don't have your number there. Also, everyone needs to have a picture taken. So Chair Shimada has been super generous to volunteer and take pictures. I think she got about 30 senators before the meeting, and so I think she has a little bit of time after the meeting to take a few, but she's going to send out a memo for the rest of you guys to get your pictures taken. So make sure that you do that ASAP, because we want to make sure that the website is completely up to date. Other than that, so I also am in charge of the Twitter account. So please, everybody, follow the Twitter account. I just got the login information tonight, and so we are live. We tweeted about this meeting. So please tell all of your friends, make sure they follow Twitter. We'll follow them back if they're concerned about that. And other than that, if you have any ideas of how to make the website or any of our channels for social media better, please let me know. I'd be happy to hear any advice that you guys have. Other than that, I think that's all I have. If you have any questions, you can speak to me afterwards. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Jerry's done a great job with the website. Just real quick turnaround on that with all the new senators and whatnot. Also I have a few shout outs for folks in SJO. I think they're doing a real good job. Diyash Gupta, our director of IT, who actually sent me an idea as a thing going on with fish aids, he has really stepped up and done a fantastic job with running the computer, with printing and everything. He's put in a ton of work with that, so I'm real proud of him. Chair Shimada, she took pictures, which was really awesome, and B, she's been doing past work on the she's always been careful, like, she's already done more work than a lot of chairs that we've seen. She's done a real good job with that. Senator Ramirez, obviously, he's done a kick-ass job on the website, and Dylan Manchek from Exec. Not only has he been doing a great job with the promotional material for the Health campaign, but he also has volunteered to help Jerry with the website and other things. And he just this week sent out a survey, a student-wide survey for SGA, so that we can help get student feedback about what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and how we can improve them. If y'all haven't seen that, it was sent out on Monday. It's important, well, where to ask questions. Yeah, other than that, I just want to say, give a short message to y'all new senators. This is really an experience where you get out of it what you put into it. It's real rewarding if you work at it and like try, and it's a nice time to browse Facebook. But preferably do that first thing, not that second thing. So if you have any questions for me or Jerry, I yield my time there too.
Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Liberal Arts. What's that Twitter handle? So I believe it's just if you just search for TAMU Senate, it should pull it up. So it's just at TAMU Senate.
Senator Fisher.
Senator Fisher, College of Liberal Arts, can you follow us back?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll just follow everybody back.
Senator Carlson.
Senator Carlson, transition flag coach programs. Where do you want us? How do you want us? Yeah, so everybody write this down: protemp.tamusenate@gmail.com. That is the black hole of Senate. Everything is pulled in there. Everything ends up there. That's what we run the meetings off of. That's my email. Just go ahead and send it to me.
Senator Roberts.
Senator Roberts, College of Liberal Arts. Are you ever going to change?
I'm sure that should be.
Because your name says Courtney still. Last time I checked, unless I'm wrong.
No.
No, not on the website, like on the actual email, unless I'm just.
Sometimes it says Tate, sometimes it says Courtney, sometimes it says Protem. I've tried.
Mine still says Josephine sometimes.
Mine still says Cameron Rosie.
I mean, we can keep our fingers crossed.
Okay, I just wasn't sure.
Are there any other, please stay in order. Are there any other questions for Pro Tem Banks? Being none, thank you. Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, rules and regulations. Welcome new senators, and that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Chair Walter.
All right, so first thing, I'm wearing my name tag until everybody learns. I'm not Michael, and I spelled one T for the record. I don't have a lot, just buy a brick, talk to your organization about getting bricks. The brick campaign is incredibly important for us to continue to be funding all the great programs we have within Coldness and helping the student body. So I would encourage everyone to talk to your organizations about buying a brick, getting your family to buy a brick, buying a brick yourself. I know I would be doing so as well as sure. Yeah, bricks.
Are there any questions for Chair Walter? Yes, Senator Collins.
Senator Collins, where are those bricks?
Right, so there's, if you notice walking up to Coldness, there's the bricks, and we've got just words written on, like little messages, for name, class, that kind of thing. Put that on there, and that will be there till the end of time, until she's no longer around. And it's only $150 to get it. Right. Till the end of time, your name and little message will be on the brick outside of Coldness, right across from Kyle Field. Right. So it's only $150. Steal that.
Are there any other questions for Chair Walter? Yes, Senator Collins. Please stay in order.
However many you can afford and are willing to buy. If you want to just do like an entire line of like each letter of your first name, that is perfectly acceptable.
There's 100 left.
What?
100 left.
Yeah, no, but you can just keep
I
buying.
know, he's asked how many there were.
Oh, it's 100 letters per brick.
No, there are 100 left.
Oh, 100 bricks left, right, sorry. So if you have 15 grand just laying around and you're gonna like buy like all the bricks left, that would be.
Are there any other questions?
Please stay in order. We're almost finished.
Senator Kutar, or Chair Kutar, sorry.
Is it 150 or 100? Somebody outside.
Currently they're 150, but they're 150 forever until Chair House is done. There's not like a black one. Talk to Katina, I'm sure she will.
Are there any other questions for Finance Chair Walter? Being none, thank you. Chair Chimata.
Howdy.
How do you?
Welcome new senators. Okay, so the micro grant application for the President Hydrant Pilot Program, I wanted submitted by Wednesday. And I realized it's really not gonna get done properly unless I do it before.
the weekend. So, these are the three people I remember coming up to me, talking to me about it, saying they wanted to help. Erica, Brianna, and Alejandra. Anyone else who wants to help, but it's not. Reagan, I forgot Reagan. Okay, anyone else? Please come talk to me. I will make a groupie. We can get together and work on it. I'm meeting with, because it does involve 10 on-campus restrooms, I'm meeting with the VP of Facilities and Operations Monday morning. And I think Dr. Dannenbaum, and yeah, so tell me after the meeting if you want to help with that. And the people who are interested, please look at your phones so we can come up with time to work on that. Okay, other than that, the newspaper readership program that I brought up, I am going to email students the advisory board to discuss funding for that. And I have emailed transportation regarding not filling that.
Are there any questions for Chair Chimada? Senator Dane.
Senator Dane, college engineering, the teachers used to come by, can we take a look at them? And if we don't find them.
Okay. That's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm not bringing my camera again. Oh, heck no. So if you didn't get your picture taken, please, tell me after, like, if I can take it. And yeah, you can look through it. That works.
Are there any other questions for Chair Chimada? Seeing none, Chair Mendoza.
Chair Mendoza, Legislative Affairs. We will most likely not be having a meeting this week. I'll probably try and schedule one-on-one with my committee members. Also in the middle of transition. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll let you know in group me. Also working on two more things in our committee. But if anyone else in this room is not in LA, has any issues or higher education, please bring it up to us. We're in the lull between legislation and THGC, which is that another month. So I'd love to hear your ideas. Other than that, welcome new senators. I myself came in Senate last year as a freshman caucus member, right in fall, this a year ago. It's a great opportunity. I was sitting behind the pole over there, so we all better seats than me. So just take advantage of it. Everyone in the room, a lot of great resources, other than just talking. So, any other questions?
Are there any questions for Chair Mendoza? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Powell.
Academic Affairs, howdy.
Howdy.
Just not too many updates besides Studio 7, which is good updates. I had a meeting with Dr. Rescue and Walter to really sit down and make sure this wording is perfect. About an hour and a half. So, yeah, so that's good. And then also Dr. Kenner had an idea for a rule, so I'll be meeting her on Friday to make sure we submit the right language into the Rules and Rights Committee of that Senate, and we'll be going from there. But basically, I expect the next meeting we'll have some legislation everything with passing time. I don't have any other updates besides
Are there any questions for Chair Powell? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Rabioso.
Howdy, Senate.
Howdy.
Chair Rabioso, Community Relations. Not crazy. Actually, if all the on-campus could stay active real quick, talk to me. Really appreciate it. I'll be here. Another thing, something that Senate kind of does after every meeting, we have subcommittees. What we do is we go to the chicken, get some food, hang out, talk, get to know one another. And if you try to let Chair Wilson know, I will definitely get him. So come out. That's it.
Are there any questions for Community Relations Chair Rabioso? Seeing none, thank you. Chair Kuntar.
Chair Kuntar, diversity inclusion. First off, welcome to Senate. I haven't had a chance to meet you before then, so welcome. If you have not prepped yet, make sure those who I've reached out that are invited to meet, please wait 5 minutes after the meeting just so we can find a meeting, find a time where we can meet. It doesn't have to be a Wednesday. We can work out what time works for all of us. And Kevin noticed today the open forum was a bit longer. That's because APC talked to us from UPSA and the Multicultural Youth Council. We're gonna have something similar to this every meeting. I remember speaking with Chairman Yoza. It was something that he doesn't know about a lot of cultural organizations on campus. So one issue of that he has to do with that. We're gonna bring 1, 2, 3 organizations every meeting to come tell us what they do. You know, UPSA do a lot of things. You know, it's a Multicultural Youth Council. They do a lot of community service around the city. So how do you contribute to them in general? And other than that, like I said, if you're my committee, just wait 5 minutes and that'll be me. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Diversity and Inclusion Chair Kuntar? Seeing none, thank you. We will now move into a period of executive reports, starting with Student Body President Amy Sharp.
If y'all can please close your laptops, exec reports are like the head of every single branch, and I really want y'all to listen to them. Thank you.
Hi, Jeanette.
Howdy.
I kind of have a lot, so please bear with me. I'll try to keep it concise. First off, it's just that if you are someone in this room that was elected in February, you are at your halfway point of your term, which is crazy to think about. Because we're in October, but that's how it works. So, something I've been doing, and I encourage all of y'all to do, is to reevaluate where you're at with all of your goals. I know that I took all of my goals, I went through and read a lot of interviews I did right off the bat, holding myself accountable to what I said I was going to do. And so I made this document and kind of just did like red and green, like successes and room for improvement. And I think that I'm about like 50-50 right now, which is a good place because I'm halfway done. So hopefully by the end we'll be green. But so that's that. Diversity update. I'm glad that James spoke in open forums. He got the most of it there, but I also just wanted to say that I'm going to be meeting with Chair Kuntar tomorrow, and hopefully we can establish a really good relationship between the new Senate committee and the commission, so that way they can truthfully just like double up on all the stuff that needs to be done because it's a lot in a short amount of time. Update on Howdy to Help. So Texas A&M Today's article is going out on Monday, so feel free to share that far and wide. Dr. Covey, who is the head of student counseling services, was quoted in it saying that she believes that the Howdy to Help campaign is in part reason why they're seeing higher numbers than ever at student counseling services. So that's really cool. So please share that far and wide if you can. Also coming up, we're doing what we've been calling a Howdy to Help shindig because we don't know what else to call it, but we're gathering all the stakeholders that have been a part of the help campaign. So health promotions, TAPs, counseling services, health services, direct, Chartwells, and getting their representatives in the room along with some student leaders to kind of evaluate, hey, we're halfway, what can we do better to support your goals, how can you guys continue to help advocate for student health. So that's really exciting. I think we're going to need to do these, so yeah. Next, so as mentioned by Tate, the survey has 327 responses in about 24 hours, which is amazing. So props to Dylan on that and Tate for being a contributor to that. And I just want to share with y'all, I've read all of them. Well, actually, not the last like 75, but this weekend I'm going to sit down and respond to each one. And I know that sounds crazy, but so many of them have said like, I really like would talk to SGA more, share my concerns more if I felt like there was someone on the other end, or if I felt like there was anyone that actually cared. And so I'm gonna respond to all of them and just like address what they said, and also just say thanks for. One person that I read though did give a really good suggestion for Senate and said that they have trouble a lot with the YouTube live stream and that not a lot of people get on YouTube that much anymore. So they asked if y'all could consider a Facebook live stream for each Senate meeting. They thought that would get like more traffic and visibility. So just something to consider. Speaking at meetings, so also in the survey, they asked, one of the questions was like, what is the best way to get information to you about SGA? And a very large percentage of respondents said speaking at my organization So that just tells you right there, like, there's hundreds of people responding to the survey, and they're saying, like, we'd like to see you speak at my meeting. So that's really awesome. So I just encourage you to hold yourself accountable to that. Really try to sign up for the organizations that are within your caucus. Matthew Gaines. So a lot has happened with Matthew Gaines in the last 30 days. There's really, really good things. And it's rolling like fast. So I've like talked to a couple of you that have said like, oh, like I'm thinking about Matthew Gaines or I'm working on this new Matthew Gaines, and I feel like the information is super widely available, like all of the process that has gone down. So I just encourage you to talk to Chair Rubioso because he's the chair of the committee and has helped to establish the task force, and then also Erica Pauls, who will be the president of the task force. So talk to both of them or myself, of course, if touch me around to get updates on Matthew Gaines because SGA at this point is like very inherently tied with everything Gaines, and so I want you all to be in the know of everything that's happening. Because it's great. So that's that. And lastly, just my door is open to you. If you're a new senator or girl senator, that's not quite old. Come stop by, like just text me, we can meet up for coffee or something like that. But if we haven't got a chance to meet one-on-one, I still want to. I want to hear about what you're working on and see how we can work together. And the university is listening right now. I know y'all on your day-to-day might not always get a pulse of like how administration is viewing SGA and working with SGA, but I spend every day with administration. So they're listening to us right now, and we have the ability to make an impact. So let's talk about how to capitalize on that in the short amount of time.
Thank you, SVP Sharp. Are there any questions? Senator Moreno.
Senator Moreno, College of Engineering. I don't know how popular this will be among us, but would you consider having some of those volunteers help you write those responses? Like, no, I want to do it all.
I don't know. I mean, I guess like I thought to them it would go along with like knowing that it was coming from me, but y'all are also representing so if you're interested in helping, let me know.
Pro Tem Banks.
Pro Tem Banks, so will the data from the survey be shared with Senate once it's fully aggregated?
Yes. So Dylan is going to keep an eye on it and kind of just wait and see when the responses stop coming in, and then he is going to make a summary and present it hopefully at the next Senate meeting.
Are there any other questions? Being none, thank you, SVP Sharp. Chief Justice Newman.
I already said it.
Howdy.
Given that we spent a little bit of time today discussing the differences between horses and ponies, I'm going to take a little bit of time to introduce the rest of the new family of our pumpkins here in the GA. So those of you who were here for the last meeting of the Student Senate met, but now we have new members. This is White Pumpkin here, that's Spook. And then Aloe, Casper, and Boo. Just so you're all aware. So they'll be, of course, at the next meeting. And perhaps there'll be more members of the family by the October. So I wanted to start today with the most important piece of information that I have. Secondly, we had our mock trial for judicial court this past week, this past Tuesday. Very successful, went very well, and I received the opinion from the justices and on that mock trial as well as myself. But the new justices were the one that wrote the opinion, and if any of y'all would actually like to read the opinion that they wrote for the hypothetical case, go ahead and email me. I can send it out to you. It's chiefjustice.tamu@gmail.com. I'll be happy to email you the opinions. You can look at it, get an idea of what we do in judicial court. It has a good summary of the case there listed in the syllabus, as well as the argument behind, why they ruled with in this hypothetical case. It's about 7 pages long, so not too much. Very, very interesting case. Lastly, as it relates to what I mentioned during my last executive report, which was a comprehensive code overview, which would involve myself, Karina Wilson, and Sarah Sweeney, as well as a fourth representative of the selected piece of code, for example, Senate bylaws, probably Speaker of the Student Senate, Mr. Parker, right, for election commission, the election regulations, frankly, the election. So we're going to be moving forward with this code review beginning next week. We already have a schedule lined out with different sections of the code. It's going to be about 20 pages per week of my court coming together, discussing different changes that we might be suggesting for that section of the code. And then I, as the representative of the judicial court, presenting that to the other members of that small committee, Karina, Sarah Sweeney, and then that fourth representative, and us together coming together with suggestions for that particular piece of code. And then we'll be presenting along the way. I'm going to leave that decision of how it's going to exactly be presented to the student senate up to the experts here, Karina and Sarah. I'm going to leave it up to them to decide exactly how they'll be presenting it to the student senate, but we will be doing it along the way to keep you all updated on some of the new suggestions that we have as it relates to code. And I'll touch on the last point as it relates to the first document that we'll be touching on, which is the Constitution. We'll be very careful to make any adjustments there, given that that's a foundational document, and any potential changes that we suggest and enforce within the Constitution could have ramifications that are perhaps unfair. So different pieces of the code that are more touchy and difficult to really ascertain, ascertain the ramifications of what happens whenever we make those changes. Probably err on the side of caution rather than coming up with all sorts of.
Are there any questions for Chief Justice Newman? Chair Wilson.
Chair Wilson, Rules and Regulations. Chief Justice Newman, are you going to be attending subcode tonight?
No.
Senator Thompson.
Senator Thompson, College of Liberal Arts. 2 weeks will be Halloween, so it'll be a jacket.
I'd be willing to consider it. We'll see. We'll leave it up to a surprise. I'm still considering what my costume will be.
Senator
Robert College of Liberal Arts, have you considered being Charlie Brown because of all the fun?
Now considering it. For your sake and the sake of the family.
Pro Tem Banks. Please stay in order.
Pro Tem Banks, will you consider coming as a judge?
Well, my robes are just in the other room there. That would be quite easy. And maybe a powdered wig of some sort.
Yeah.
Senator Walther.
Please
Please stay in order. Not you, the rest of you.
What are your opinions?
As long as it's appropriate, I would have no problem with it.
You're out of order. Please stay seated. Senator Moreno.
Senator Moreno, College of Engineering, are you considering from that horrible color, except one of them, to
The suggestions have already been brought up to me by Mr. Cross over there, and I will be adding that to my list of suggestions.
Are there any other questions or suggestions for Chief Justice? Seeing none, thank you. Howdy, Cindy. First off, I'd like to say there was a lot of good, healthy debate tonight. I think that was good. A lot of the stuff we had passed so far within the Senate hasn't been that controversial, but I'd like to see that continue on. There was confusion on where the legislation was, so please make sure you're checking the email or the drive for the meeting so that you're well read before we come here. The second thing is for the new senators as well, please go and do your committee preps because Pro Tem Banks will be assigning the committees probably by the end of this week, so please do that so we can get you to the committee. On a similar note, if you have already been assigned or you are new to a committee, please go talk to the chair, specifically Chair Tamada mentioned. If you're new to our committee, please go talk to her after. If you have not taken your picture, like they said, please go take your picture tonight. It would look a lot better if we're all on there instead of the SGA logo. So please go take your picture. SVP Sharp mentioned a little bit about the gains initiative, so I won't go too deep into it, but it is moving forward really fast, really strong. We have a lot of senators on the course, so Gilberto, Erica Pauls, Brianna DeGreat, and Zach Keachman are on the task force, so really good SGA representation on that. Looking forward to that. Sarah Sweeney earlier from the executive cabinet talked a little bit about SGA PR. Senator Black is also doing some Senate-specific PR, so definitely order from both. They'll have that out in the next week or so. He's working on getting quotes, so there might be a hat or a lapel pin, so some other things besides just t-shirts.
Cut the chatter, please. We're almost finished.
So be on the lookout for that. The next thing is Halloween meeting. Thank you for bringing that up, Senator Walter. Historically, Senate has dressed up on the Halloween week meeting, and this year it falls direct on Halloween. So we will be dressing up for the Halloween meeting. Please make sure it's still like school appropriate. Still senators, and there will be a student soft fab presentation that night. So kind of important presentation, but definitely dress up. There might be a prize for the best costume, so come prepared for that. The last thing is, I think there's still pizza over in the corner, and if no one takes it, then we're throwing it away. So if you like pizza or if you want to put it up, please go grab some. With that, I'm open to questions.
Are there any questions for the presenter? Seeing that there, Senator Walther.
Senator Walter, May's caucus with Tarzan pieces.
For you, no.
Are there any other questions for the presenter? Our advisor has something to
Yes,
say.
one thing that I do have to say with the Halloween costumes, they need to be appropriate. So not showing anything, too much skin, actually having clothes on, like pictures of Tarzan would be on. I'm just putting that out there, so y'all know.
Are there any other questions? We will now move into closing roll call.
Howdy, y'all. Please stay quiet during this time. Also, just quick thing, the committee placement form on the drive is accurate, so if your name's already on there, that is going to be your committee. I'm just waiting for a few people so I can complete that.
All right, there are a lot of senators, so please stay in order so that we can get out of here fast.
Also, go to subcode. SVP Sharp.
Sorry. With the whole back to games, if you are still kind of helping out with that process, the whole task force, like positions are filled, but if you want to be in the loop of what's going on, that we.
All right, please stay in order.
SVP Sharp.
Howdy.
Chief Justice Newman.
Howdy.
Chair Parker.
Howdy.
Chair Wilson.
Howdy.
Chair Mandel. Chair Walter.
Howdy.
Chair Mendoza.
Howdy.
Chair Powell.
Howdy.
Chair Robioso.
Howdy.
Chair Chamato.
Howdy.
Chair Cantor.
Howdy.
Senator Ahmed. Senator Ahmed?
Yeah.
Okay,
Howdy.
Senator Meany.
Howdy.
Senator Barber. Senator Benke. Senator Berger.
Howdy.
Senator Black.
Howdy.
Senator Carlson.
Howdy.
Senator Carter. Senator Castellanos. Senator Collard. Senator Collins.
Here.
Senator Crossland. Hey, howdy. Senator Dang.
Howdy.
Senator Drake.
Howdy.
Senator Elizondo.
Howdy.
Senator Bishop.
Howdy.
Senator Gleason. Senator Golter.
Please stay in order.
Senator Gutta. Senator Hardison. Senator Herrera. Senator Harris.
Howdy.
Senator Hipkins.
Howdy.
Senator Hull.
Howdy.
Senator Hutto.
Howdy.
Senator Johnson.
Senator
Olivia Crowe. Hey, stay quiet, everybody. Senator Olivia Crowe.
Howdy.
Senator Lopez. Senator Latrell. Senator Maldonado. Senator Macias. Senator Maples. Senator Martin. Senator McGill. Senator Moore. Senator Alejandro Moreno. Senator Luis Moreno.
Howdy.
Senator Russell. Senator Navila. Senator Nava. Senator Oldham. Senator Palmer. Senator Paul. Senator Papula. Senator Papula. Senator Quintana. Senator Quintar. Senator Ramirez. Senator Reyes. Senator Roberts. Senator Larissa Rodriguez. Senator John Ryan Rodriguez. Senator Salazar. Senator Scoggins.
Howdy.
Everybody, just 1 second. Senator Schaefer. Senator Seagal. Senator Sunrose.
Howdy.
Senator Thompson.
Howdy.
Senator Tran.
Howdy.
Senator Thomas.
Howdy.
Senator Rulli.
Howdy.
Senator Vallejo.
Howdy.
Senator Vitaka. Senator Walter. Senator Walter. Senator Reeves. Senator Wheeler.
Don't see that.
Senator Young. Senator Zuniga.
Have a good night. This meeting is adjourned.
You see the little shiver going down his spine? All right, Mitch, you're coming out.
Hey, look.
So I'm probably gonna be about half an hour today. I still want to. I just.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Two.
What was your,
I'm actually okay, thanks. Okay.
Yeah, we're bringing up at IA. I'm adding it to my list.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, but like one of them, like whatever, one of them stays here, but one of them stays there. But like, I was just.
Are we live right
I hope not. Yeah, we're seeing.
Uh,